Welcome everyone to Light Masculinity. We have a first-time guest, a beast, well-known in the IMC community, and making his first pilgrimage to San Jose in 2 weekends. He's a sponsor for the Keeper of the Tech event. It's a very transformative event. It's going to really bond everyone who attends, especially the sponsors. The information once shared, kind of like going through a mushroom experience together. You always will be talking about, remember that time? And you'll be like, yeah, Keeper of the Tech, dude, it was so powerful. That's what it's going to be like. But with wisdom, like real wisdom, philosophy, lifestyle, like not just a drug trip. That's really dope, not to use the drug language for that. It's funny to say something that's dope. It's funny to call anyway, I hope that wasn't over your head. It's probably over your head. If not, then you get it. Leuri Pelayo, AKA Lone Wolf.
Awesome.
AKA some future name because he's shifting archetypes. We're going to talk about that. So this event might even be kind of almost like a plausibly deniable, like a reason to change yourself that would be accepted by people because there's an event that's like a transformative event. You're supposed to transform. So it's like, it's allowed. Not that it's not allowed elsewhere, but it will bring on a ton of questions when you change your name or whatever. And when you have some legit or seemingly legit reason, that's what's so funny about it. Because if you just do it just because you felt like it, then there's going to be a bunch of more questions. I just didn't want it. And it's going to pry into you versus like having a whole transformative event, like what's about to happen. To be able to say, like, I went through that and came out the other end, or I was going to go and I saw that, a change was happening. And so this is your first time on the show, first time coming to San Jose from San Diego, I believe. What's going on with you, man? Welcome.
Man, I'm excited. And thank you for having me. I'm a fan of your podcast. I mean, I feel enlightened already. My masculinity levels just went up 100 just being here.
Since when?
So I'm excited.
Like, when did that happen?
What's that?
When you say masculinity went up like 100?
Just being on this podcast right now. My testosterone just shot to the roof, man.
Hell yeah. Live audience here too. So they bring on, with their attention, they bring a lot of power.
That's right. I can feel it. I can feel it in this little square, this little screen. Yeah. I love it.
Right on. So you're down in San Diego. You're making the pilgrimage up here. Are you going to be coming up with the Los Angeles guys also? Or are you
that is correct.
Wolf style? You're going to drive up Lone Wolf style?
Well, I'm probably going to fly.
Oh, yeah, that's probably
it. Catch a bird. Why not?
Sure. I like airplanes and mostly airports because a lot of intermixing of people, a lot of opportunity there for connections, far reaches of the planet, really. And if you just keep opportunities open, you commune with nature while you're walking through airport, having a private moment with yourself, then you just throw away some monologue, you're in. So right on. So you said right before we started the show, you said you were changing your name. What's up with that?
Well, the archetype of the lone wolf, it originated from a place of betrayal, insecurity, antisocialness, and being on this process with my brothers, you can't make it out of here alone, man. Shout out to Arslan. He called me out on my shit on TXL's stream the other day. Shout out to Big TXL. That's the homie. He said, it doesn't even fucking make sense, brother. You're not a fucking lone wolf. And that just freaking hit me. You're absolutely right, I'm part of a pack. I'm part of a tribe.
So he was right. I don't know who this guy is. So some guy on TXL show calls you out for what did
No. He called me on my shit. Arslan.
Arslan called you on what shit?
Well, he was like, it makes no fucking sense, brother. You're not a lone wolf.
You're not a lone wolf.
He was right.
I got you. Okay, so you're outgrowing this because you were at some point, yeah?
Of course.
When did that shift for you? Looking back now. Now that you know you're not, when did it change?
Shout out to ACD. This was, I believe, Alien Tech, one of the lectures there. He said, if you're doing something that's coming from a wrong place, you're wrong. It don't matter how passionate you are. If it came from a wrong place, you're hurting yourself. Something along those lines. And it hit me.
Yeah, it's a very deep aphorism or statement for sure. It's a deep truth because it causes one to process that sentence. You must look back into the meaning of that sentence, and the meaning is pointing to what are your intentions, and especially your deep intentions, like for why you're being who you're being, why you chose your career, why you got married, why you invest in that house or this property or that whatever, why that job, why that fashion, why that hairstyle. Like, you know, I don't know how much, like, you have to question your whole life to process that thing. And what's your intention there? You know, what's your intention for Lone Wolf? So now it brought you almost like to present time because it caused you to view your intention for something which you had become so comfortable and accustomed to that you were no longer questioning it, which was the Lone Wolf. Not questioning it deeply. That was it got you to deeply question it because it took you to the root of your intention. And maybe that wasn't vibing with who you were being anymore.
Not at the moment, no. For some years, maybe yes, when I needed it. But now it's all about evolution. And I'm looking forward to my next archetype. It's beast, my next everything.
Yeah, the next creation, for sure. Lone Wolf will always be that like card that you can pull out because you have that down. Now it's time for the next character, the next character, the next character.
Exactly.
You know, we go from 5 years to make a character to like 5 months to maybe 5 weeks. You know, then we rotate them, shift them around because they're like deep. I'm exploring this too. I'm in it with you, man.
That's amazing.
Right on. Powerhouse, what do you think of this guy? He's coming to sponsorship, first time.
Man, I actually we had a podcast in base 3, and he had I think it came up somehow. Oh no, I'm talking about someone else. But the fact of the matter is that I'm excited.
Base 3 is popular, everybody. Base 3 is popular. They get a lot of inquiries.
Yeah, no, Lone Wolf, man, it's like for me for a long time it didn't register either. Like Lone Wolf, all right, cool. You know, kind of like I was self-proclaimed powerhouse, right? And then I was like, hey, this is who I am, and you know, this is how I'm introducing myself. And I've just inherently, I guess, I know I've been being perceived as like, yeah, bro, you show a certain level of power that, yeah, you are a fucking powerhouse. But Lone Wolf, it definitely has him. I feel that because he's in San Diego and there's really we haven't really grown out there as of yet. You know, it's self-proclaimed lone wolf in that sense, which I wish it didn't make sense, but it does. But now that he is more aware of that, like, hey, wait a minute, I'm no longer alone. Like there is my tribe is IMC, and him plugging in and coming from that, he's going to be doing it right now. Going to what he was saying. AZD said, if you're doing something, but even though it's coming from the wrong place, well, it's not that you're doing it wrong, brother. Even with all the passion that you have, you're doing it right for you. And so now the evolution is going to start to show, and you're going to start, if you come to the right place with the right people, everything's just going to fall in place.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Shout out to Powerhouse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Lone Wolf. Yeah. San Diego had a guy named there, Vaughn Wilson, and used to be a couple students there, Ratterman and Eric Tyler. He dropouts.
Yeah. Still here, brother. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and then Lone Wolf, you know, made it through. He made the cut, joined the team. Now he's coming to the varsity squad. He's getting called up.
That's right.
He's coming to San Jose. So he's doing his 2K sponsorship, which is an event coming up for Keeper of the Tech called the training. And there's a lot of private moments that are about to happen. I'm about to message AZD about doing my second communing with nature. This is a process to describe a journaling process. Basically, you act it out, whatever. And then there's going to be a bunch of private moments, and everybody's going to be changed. There's going to be a lot of private moments just stacked up, probably 7 or 8. And everybody's going to grow, especially the people doing the private moments. Because if you're doing the private moments, Chris Lopez, you can go live on just your own Instagram. You don't have to be on mine. And, you know, the people that do the private moments are really going to benefit from seeing each other do the private moments. Everybody's going to grow a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to extend also an extra day, so it'll have to go into Monday. So if you haven't got your ticket yet.
Okay.
Have you?
Not yet.
Okay, good. So probably at the worst Monday night, at best maybe Tuesday morning if you can, when you should fly back. You could also probably drive most of the way to LA and then just take a bus or something to save the money. But then you could do 3K sponsors and get yourself a private. I don't know if it saves you that enough money for that, though. But that's the kind of thinking that I do. You know, Joan, apprentice IMC Anbu, he's graduated. He's coming over. He's moving over to San Jose, and had a house over there, a life in Maryland with a girl and 2 dogs, and he's bringing everything except the house. So he sold the house and he's moving to San Jose. So that's exciting. Big moves. So everybody's changing. I see Chris Lopez has made it. Christopher Lopez. So Lone Wolf, tell us as we well, I want to talk a little bit more with you and then intro Chris, and then we could all, of course, we got IMC Tribal Leader Powerhouse here. We got Jaime Galliena, who's going to be one of the private moments, Tattoo Addicts, who's put in a lot of the IMC guys, including AZD. Arslan, who's about to be the king of Romania, if he keeps going. And of course, Prophet, the Miracle, world public speaker. Victor D, don't know you. Zoom user, weird name. TXL also. How could I let TXL go? Roswell, New Mexico. So Lone Wolf, when you made this decision to come to Keeper of the Tech, and you saw the information or the kind of the teaser about the information, the IMC origins and how this stuff was put together, and probably like me see a lot of power and potential in weaving together a story for yourself using these principles of how to weave your life story together to build your life, and you know, in an incredible way that's just world class. You know, the example, like I explained to my mom today about you know, this is world class. She expressed worry. I was like, I got a place always at the house. And she was like, how do you know that? It's not your house. I tell her that AZD got, his parents got. She's probably jealous. I'm like, AZD's parents bought him a house.
There you go.
It's not exactly what I said, of course, but that's like when I was a kid and I was like, well, Derek got a Nerf gun. And so anyway, I dropped it like incidentally. It was almost like creating a jealousy plot line.
Right.
You know, even though it's my mom, it's Mom's Day. That's the best time. And anyway, so I told her a bunch of heartwarming stories, and I forget where I was going with that really. So it doesn't matter. So Lone Wolf, this event, I guess the IMC origins and creating stuff for yourself. This is very exciting. Like, what are you looking forward to, man? What are your anticipations leading up to the event? Like, what, you know, that's why we have Chris Lopez here too, and we'll talk with him. Like, this question will probably be asked to him because he's a big player at IMC. People know him, but he hasn't been here before. Virgin San Jose, at least in the IMC world. Like, maybe he's visited San Jose before, but that's like different than what this will be. So yeah, give me a piece of the mind, Lone Wolf. Leuri, let's just call you Leuri because you're dropping.
I'll take it. So IMC Nation for me has been a strong wind current that adjusts my sails, sets the course. So fuck yeah, I'm repping IMC Nation. I want to get down to the root of it, the origins. You know, I want to earn the respect of my brothers, everybody.
Yeah, for what? Like, what's your motivation? Why?
Spread the word.
What does that mean? To who?
To anybody that needs, you know, that needs this. A lot of people need this. We need role models. We need more masculine role models. We need to do it ethically.
Yeah, you already have ethics. You're already a role model, but maybe you're not expressing it enough.
That's exactly, you know what? That's what I'm trying to get to. Yeah. Find the language to properly express myself. This is why part of the reason why I don't want to be Lone Wolf anymore. Because it scares, it kind of has that intimidating flavor to it, which I don't like.
Coming in person? Coming in person does?
No. I mean, this is
the intimidating flair to it.
Yeah.
No, so, I didn't hear. What has the intimidating flair to it?
The name Lone Wolf, you know?
So finding the right language, including, but not limited to, Chris Lopez likes that language, including but not limited to, rebranding your name.
Correct.
So is that the primary motivation, or is there more to it, or is it just rebranding your name and you think that that'll really? But that's the root of it. Obviously, that's not a little thing. But it's interesting. It's like Vince Kelvin had an analogy once where it's like you pay $10,000 for an electrician to come in to just tell you that one fuse was out. But it took a master electrician to figure out in all the wiring just this one thing that needs to be switched. You know, so maybe it's just the name, but the name is everything, right? Or some, you know, not everything, but a lot. So is that like really the primary motive? Where it's like, I got to do this thing. I got to change my archetype or this thing that I'm portraying. And I need the rebranding master AZD to help me.
Yeah, so that's part of it. But at the same time, I'm under the banner of IMC Nation. I want to know my brothers. I want to see their perspectives. I want to meet them. I want to learn from them to really calibrate my communication as well.
Yeah, but you've known that all the time. You've known that the whole time. Ever since I've been talking with you, I've been saying,
Right.
Go to LA and communicate with IMC brothers, or connect with Von Wilson, or at the time I was telling you connect with Ratterman when he was still around. And I was telling him the same thing. And, you know, there's been 30 camps, and every camp has been an opportunity to connect with IMC brothers. So what is it about this one?
It just hit me, man. Something inside me just woke up, you know?
Something inside you just what?
Something inside me woke up. It just hit me.
Yeah, when did that happen? You there? I think you froze. Froze. It's past tense of froze, but that's already past tense, so it's like past tense. It froze. Okay. Lone Wolf. Damn it. Everybody remember what I was asking? TXL, what was I saying?
You're basically asking what was the whole reason, what woke up inside him that
Yeah. He's here. Yeah. Lone Wolf, Leuri. Yeah, so something just inside of you, you know? What was the wording that you used? You're muted. You're muted.
Okay.
Yeah, what was the wording? You said something just happened, like, when did
it struck me. Something just struck me. Like
yeah, energy. That's right. It hit you. Yeah, something hit you inside. Well, when was that? What happened?
When I started just to fucking tell my mind to shut the fuck up.
And that was just like a teaching that you learned in the lecture or something, or was there a moment?
Recently.
So not a profound moment. You can't pinpoint, like, not necessarily day.
No, it's like, many moments. It's a culmination of many moments just coming together.
So you've been waking up, and it's been since the alien tech era, you're saying?
Shedding old skin.
Shedding old skin. Hell yeah. Very cool.
May I interject here for a second?
Yeah.
In my experience of connecting with Lone Wolf, we I think what he was missing was genuine connection from the brothers, and he always jumps on, man, religiously. If there's any guy that is following the process, I want to say, is Lone Wolf, right? And because of that, he knows the power of it, obviously. And when he jumps on to the podcast that we all have, I mean, TXLs and Base 3 and all that, there was a point I remember that I basically had him, I had to pull him in to join into the, to actually speak. Cause I'm like, I've never heard the man speak. And so when I pulled him in, it was inviting. It was an invitation. It wasn't like, hey, you have to this. And I think that was genuine. And I think that in my experience of that, it was like, hey man, nobody has ever really done that, to invite me to speak. And then I told him, hey man, like, what's going on? Are you gonna make this move? Is that a possibility to base up, man? Because again, within me, I knew that the Lone Wolf name was not him. It's just, nobody at IMC is lone. So I think that kind of gave the moments that he's talking about of accumulation of moments that inspired him and made him do this, allowed him to make this leap. Why now? I think those are one of the moments that I want to point that out, and just to support him in being able to communicate that.
Interesting. Yeah, I am interested in the moment. I think it'll become more clear I think it's not super clear yet. I think it's still a little vague, but it's profound, and it's obvious that what's needed is definitely what both Powerhouse and myself have said, and I think you said also, or you agreed to, that your ability to communicate, finding the right language, the strength is there, the discipline is there, the ethics is there, the power is there, you know, and finding the right outlet, because you can have a bunch of electricity, but it's not wired up correctly. It's just a bunch of dangerous electricity. Like, it's got to have some outflow, some direction, some conduit, some fucking contraption on the other end to do something with that energy. Yeah, connection, right? And, you know, it's very interesting because maybe nobody realizes, whenever Lone Wolf started showing up to your shows or you got in communication with him, I was in communication like 12, 15 months longer than that, maybe 24 months or so. And always nudging him to do that anyway. So why now? I'm very interested. You know what I mean? And there's always 1,000 million other extenuating circumstances. Just because we've sent 1,000 messages back and forth, I still know just 0.1% of your fucking life. And
thank you for that.
Yeah, you bet. For what?
For just fucking lighting a fire in my ass, brother. Just continue. You're that, hey man, get it together. Come on, come on. When are you gonna do this? When are you gonna do that? That's what I need. You know?
It takes a lot of energy to do that, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just got on Daniel fucking Willis today from New Zealand. God damn, I was so frustrated. But I didn't, like, lose my cool. There was a little bit of karmic exchange there, so I appreciated that. Now I got to go meditate it off of me. You know? All right, so we're going to introduce our second guest into the show. It's Christopher Lopez, growing goatee and looking happy as ever, looking in a good mood, also a little tired, and big player here, you know. This guy, you know, I vouch for both these guys. Now, Lone Wolf, aka Leuri Pelayo, I had said, you know, when I was talking with Base 3 about Lone Wolf living there, I said, I mean, of all the candidates, he's tied for the top, but he hasn't come to a camp yet. So he's untested. I don't know. I can't say. I think he should have to come to a camp. I think you should require that he be at a camp before he move in with you. That's like a big deal. So that's what that is. Now he's doing it. I had no idea he was going to do it out of nowhere. He's like, I'm going to do it. I was like, hell yeah. Now, Chris Lopez, man, I don't even know where to begin. I'm unclear on the journey, but I'll be clear one day. And, you know, Chris Lopez, you know, we had our first tribal leader meeting was kind of an argument. 4 tribal leaders stepped outside of the nightclub and had a little debate about some decision making and what we had authority over and blah, blah, blah. And I learned a lot about everybody in that conversation. It was a great time, you know. But it was announced something about, you know, so-and-so and so-and-so are like next in line to be tribal leaders. We want them to be. We want more tribal leaders, this and that. And I was like, nah. And I don't think it's so clear cut that it's them. I think it's also so-and-so and Chris Lopez. And here he is on the show, first time, and he's coming to San Jose for the first time, also untested, but a big player at IMC Nation. What's going on, Mr. Chris Lopez from Los Angeles?
Hey, what's up, brother? Man, I'm glad to be here with you guys, and I appreciate the invitation. Miracle J contacted me, so thank you, Miracle J, and thank you, Yogi Chris, for having me on here, man. I'm excited to get into this conversation.
Yeah, I don't even know what we're going to talk about. We haven't, you know, pre-thought about this. You know, this month, I guess it's, you know, just timing. You've been all in since like what, October or September or so of last year, maybe August, somewhere around there.
Yes, sir.
You know, so this just so happened, like what, how many months is that? 8 or 9 months? And finally making it to San Jose. And, you know, so what can you tell us about the decision to come? You know, was it easy? Was it hard? What's been in the logistics with it? Family, to explain to the family what's going on. With a wife and a daughter, I think, you know, sister and mother and like a whole family. So they probably know about what's going on. So just give us a piece of that. Introduce yourself, if you would, to the Enlightened Masculinity audience.
Yes, absolutely. Well, my name is Christopher Lopez. Here in Southern California, the Inland Empire to be exact. And, you know, I've been studying from AZD I wouldn't say consistently, but off and on for about over 10 years now. And, in recent time, in about September, October, like Yogi Chris was talking about, I reached out to them, and I reached out to AZD, I reached out to Yogi Chris. And first of all, thank you for, constantly being such a help to me, man. You really have. And I don't know if you get your credit like I believe you deserve, but you have been very helpful to me since, I've started really communicating with you and getting the proper guidance about what to do and how to do it. And but yeah, man, I'm really going full throttle and just jumping in the pool with this, because I think the results speak for itself. I think, first of all, if people don't understand what we're talking about, people listening on Instagram as well, I think the world today lacks masculinity, real masculinity. And I think that the world today is just really a shit show, man. And, with the teachings that AZD gives us, and the brotherhood that IMC has really cultivated and provided, you're meeting like-minded men, and you're meeting people that want to get better, and just want to get better in all areas, want to get better when it comes to money, want to get better when it comes to relationships and communication, with relationships with men, but also with women, and be real, be honest. And so to me, it was an easy decision. It hasn't been easy logistically, which is why, this is the month, but it's an easy decision. I am just very inspired to change. I'm inspired to grow, and to be very specific with you, grow in what areas? Well, I want to become a master communicator, man. I want to be respected. I want to have a reputation of character, and morals and values. And when I plug into IMC and I'm around the brotherhood here, and I'm around the teachings in AZD and just everything that comes with it, I'm telling you, man, I've been in business now for over 10 years, and this is second to none. There's no doubt about that. This guidance and this mentorship that is provided, you don't find it anywhere else. And that's not to say I don't find successful people other places, financially I'm talking about, but this is a whole nother level, man. This is really a man teaching men how to be men, men teaching men how to be men. So that was a big thing for me.
Man, and I was just thinking as you were saying, because I play Miracle J, Prophet, Miracle, Prophet on chess sometimes. And it's like when you're playing chess and you're like half a move ahead of the guy. So not officially a move like ahead, but so to speak, like in the offense versus defense, in the attack, you have them on the run because they are constantly avoiding or reacting to your offense, because whatever your move is puts them more in a threat than they can put you. They might call your bluff. They might play a game of chicken with you and put like their piece in compromise with your piece. So if you take them, you're going to take them too. And you can do that game, but at some point somebody has the upper hand, and they're always kind of moving the other person until they get the other upper hand, which is they make, if you make a mistake or something. Selling AZD is like always being one step ahead in chess with someone. I just got to not miscommunicate because I got the winning hand. Or of course they may not be sellable because they're corrupt in some way. They don't understand, but it's my job to make them understand. So if they have the wits to understand, to bridge that divide from where they're at to what the value would be for them, the only thing stopping them is their own, they care about the opinions of other people or whatever, their own out ethics, basically. So, I don't know why I thought somehow what you were saying, I think when you said this business is second to none or whatever, not to talk about my business, because I'm just learning from AZD and I just do, he doesn't, I guess, teach me so much anymore, but it's like paying that $10,000 to find that one fuse to switch. That one time I have a question about this business question, that business question, and it's like, man, the language for that, I'd spend 10,000 years trying to find that wording. I'd have so many failures or whatever, trying to find that wording. So, that's what it is. That's where it's at now. So I'm very interested. I don't know, Chris, if you said this, because I kind of tranced out while you were talking. Why the decision to come back around? Because maybe on and off for 10 years, but I've been around for 6 years, and I met you once in the years until we got into good communication. I stayed in communication with you like once a month. I'd message you, but what was the shift for you? for you to come back around and start really, once you started, you never stopped. You've been at it, you've been growing, you've been with it. I just felt a little earthquake. Did you say that in what you had said, or would you share with us like that shift? Like you weren't around so much, but then shifted like about 9 months ago, because you have so in you. So I don't know if he's frozen or not. He is. I thought he was really paying attention. No, his face was frozen there. I swear to God, I thought he was just like listening so well. And then I missed a word and I was like, he's not listening, I don't think. Jesus. Wow, man. All right, TXL, take it away, man. I'm too devastated. I don't even know what to
Yes,
say.
sir. Hey, Yogi Chris, I appreciate you. And I appreciate the fact that both of your guests, shout out to IMC, no longer Lone Wolf, but you know what I'm saying. Shout out to Lone Wolf.
The
Shout out
beast
to Chris
formerly known
Lopez.
as Lone Wolf.
Yeah. And I just want to say Yogi Chris does not get enough credit for the work that he puts in. But the cool thing about him is he doesn't really care about it. Like, I'm sure it's nice. So I just wanted to put that on the table. That and what Lone Wolf would, no, not Lone Wolf, Powerhouse. What he said about Lone Wolf. Whenever I notice like each of the brothers start to interact with each other and communicate, they reach a deeper level of understanding. And once we realize we all have the same core values, even though we came from different places, I see that there's more like security, you could say, in everything that we're doing. They don't feel like they're alone.
Yeah, for sure. I did get that. Lone Wolf, what do you think about, but I remember where I left off with Chris Lopez. Let's return to the stream. But what do you think about Chris Lopez's intro? You got anything to say? Any introductions, or you guys are meeting, I think, for the first time too?
Man, flawless communication, smooth delivery. I can't wait to meet this guy, man. That man can communicate.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was explaining to my mom, because got to convey a certain power to my mom, but how the fuck is she going to get it? She's not going to get it. So how do I do it is I talk all my friends up really well. And then I say, what did I say? I said, it's like cut, these guys, like what we're doing, I really get to measure how incredible I am, Mom. I was like, I really get to see like how remarkable I am, because these guys, like, they got to make the cut. Like there's a lot of guys that don't make the cut. They don't cut it. They're interested in this stuff. And so the guys that are around are really the cream of the crop when it comes to this. But because I'm the guy that does all the selling, like I see other companies, competing companies, I see those guys, like we are a cut above the rest. And it's just different. Like, Mom, I know I'm on the winning team. Like, this is the winning team in this. And she's like, yeah. And I was like, and so these guys, like, they're standout guys. And I was saying, I don't think 2 or 3 or 4 of them could do what I do. If they all did it together, I don't think they'd still do what I do. I think they could produce better results in some ways. And I think Chris Lopez is one of those guys. He's one of those guys. I think that Oracle and Powerhouse, I don't know if either one could do it by themselves, but I think by themselves, they could get enough people to do it. Chris Lopez, I don't know. But it puts a question mark in my mind, because he's a high level guy. And because I'm able to measure myself, and it's just on these skills, managing money, logistics, data, deliverability, ability to communicate with many, many people each day without losing yourself, but that state of mind, state management, and obviously like skill and communication. And then sincere, deep interest in the subject. That's probably the thing that gives me an edge on everybody. Because I've had Powerhouse's interest, I've had Chris Lopez's level of interest, I've had Lone Wolf's state of readiness to change nonstop for 6 years. I didn't fade out. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm where I'm at. And so I talk about how great everybody else is, and I was like, and Mom, and that's why I know I'm remarkable, because I see just in my skills and what I'm able to do, like, these are great guys. And I just see that I'm irreplaceable in my way. I have to make, because this is when she's questioning, I don't know if Chris Lopez was here when I was saying, she's questioning if my place at AZD's new place is permanent, is really permanent. It's his place, it's not mine. She says, how Mom put that doubt? She'll put that doubt, and I'm like, we got a permanent place, saying we as if I'm partly on the lease. She's like, you're not on the lease, he bought the place. And And I was like, okay, I get what you're saying. So let me tell you about this moment at dinner when he announced in front of everybody, I have a place there as long as I want to be there, I can be there. Unless, of course, I betray the group or I commit treason or something, or I do something out ethics. And she's like, yeah, of course. But that's so like, that's not going to happen. And I was like, yeah. So now she's on my side, you know, explaining it. But, you know, I'm explaining about the guys that live with me, Fernando and Sultan, and, you know, they're 10 years younger and Arash is 10 years older. And I'm like in the middle, and like, I'm giving her all the dynamics, and I'm talking about how great all the guys are. And I really see how remarkable I am, Mom. Thank you. I really needed you growing up. Like when I made the post earlier, because I sent her the post I made about her, I was careful to word it in a way because I didn't want people who had shitty moms or no moms to be like, get upset about that. So I got that whole audience too. So I didn't want to be like, the only reason I'm able to do what I do is because of you, Mom. Well, then somebody might say, well, I couldn't do that then because I didn't have a mom like that. So I didn't, I just, you know, but then on the phone call with her and you're all hearing it, then I'm saying like, I'm able to do what I did because I needed you. And that was great. And then I asked her about her childhood and what were some fond memories. That was funny. It's funny what she came up with. So flawless communicator, Chris Lopez. So yeah, if you would share with us, like, what was that transition 9 months ago or 10 months ago or so, or even like, when did you were you nervous about returning? And did you wait for like a month or two while you figured out what to say? Or
yeah, well, for me, you know, I'm very grateful that I've done okay financially. In the last several years, there was a point where I was not doing great financially. I wasn't even doing okay financially. And, you know, so it's interesting because what really sparked the idea in recent times was, I think everybody in the world has this, this misunderstanding that if you just chase money and you make a lot of money, that everything else in your life just gets fixed. Mm-hmm. And that's not even close to being true. It's not even close to being true, but a lot of people who don't have money, they don't want to hear that because they're thinking if I just make money, you know, everything just gets fixed, and it's just not true. I'm telling you, it's not true. I've experienced it. And so in recent times, you know, well, let's go back a little bit, you know, that was kind of what I thought, you know, when I was really broke and I had no money and I was just hurting bad. My focus was I just need to, you know, turn my life around financially, and I need to get my shit together in that aspect. And so I did. And, you know, it changed a lot of things. And of course, it's much better, you know, not being broke than, you know, so that does help. However, in recent times, what really inspired that shift that started to really kind of linger in my brain, which is, you know, there's something missing. There's something missing. And I think what's missing is deep relationships.
Yeah,
I think
when did that happen? When did that shift happen? When you were like, there's something missing?
I would say probably the same month that I reached out to you.
Yeah, I know. Like, so what happened? What was that?
Let me think.
Whatever you're willing to share. If it's something personal, you can cloak it in some words just so I get an understanding. But, you know, I'm just very interested.
Yeah. No, that's a great question. I would say what happened was I just started looking at my relationships. I started looking at my relationships with the women that I do have in my life, the people that mean the most to me. And I just started really taking inventory and analyzing, you know, my level of happiness in these connections that I have with other human beings. And that's when I figured there's something missing here. And I think what's missing is more of a masculine energy. And I think that I need to really find that, because I think you see, that's where that's, so that was, for me, that was a big thing, because, and that's why I speak about it a lot. And I like what Lone Wolf said, which is, you know, spreading the message. Now, I don't know what he meant when he said spread the message, but I'll tell you what resonated with me when he said spread the message. My immediate message is I want to spread to men to be a fucking man, you know, be a man, be masculine, and stop letting the world, you know, break your balls, and stop letting women, you know, tell you fucking what to do and boss you around. And, you know, and you got all this money, but you have to hide, and you have all this money, but you have to lie. You know, I didn't want to live that life no more. I just didn't. I didn't want to live that life. And so that was what inspired the change. And it didn't take me long. It was as soon as I started feeling that and I started becoming aware of what I was feeling, that's when I reached out to you.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I'm sure, you know, in private conversation when you're here, if we have a chance, I'd love to hear more about the moment and like when that realization. I think there's some I like this word, although I have to explain it, but the word is called facsimile. And so L. Ron Hubbard wrote about this idea of a facsimile, like a picture in the mind that has all these emotions and perceptics attached to it. So you can feel it, hear it, and everything. And I'll bet there's some facsimile when this transition happened. There's like I used to, when I would go out with AZD to the strip clubs or whatever, and sometimes it'd be really high. I might like microdose a mushroom or something. But sometimes not, because it's really a trip being around him. And I would get this like snapshot image. I'd turn my head and he'd have like 4 girls around him, like all up in an uproar laugh. Or there's some gesture where he's like telling them a secret and they're all like or it's like, what is going on over here? Like some mind warping game demonstration here of like, just whatever, social dynamics. And it would be a painting. I would call it a painting. In my mind, I'd have this like painting of like the image I saw when I just turned over, and it was like, and so these moments, I think there are these moments. I'm really interested in those moments, but we got to get clarity and honesty, transparency on those, So what are you looking forward to? We'll wrap this up soon. What are you looking forward to in this camp? And yeah, anything.
Yeah.
It's always weird, the question of like future casting, like what are your goals? What's your vision?
Yeah.
Tell us about the camp. Like, what are you looking forward to most?
I would say 2 things that really stand out to me at this very moment. I look forward to 2 things. I think number one, for sure, I look forward to meeting all the other men here that I haven't had the opportunity to meet and get a chance to really talk. And I think the reason why I think that's so important is because it leads me to my second reason of what I'm looking forward to. I truly understand that if you really want to change and you want to speed up your process, speed up your transformation, I understand that, reading and watching through a video or even Zoom or whatever it is, that definitely helps. There's no doubt about it. But it's a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother experience when you're there and you're feeling the energy and you're on the same frequency and you're around the people and you start learning and changing through osmosis. And so for me, what I'm looking forward to is just being in the environment, being with the master teacher, being with all the other brothers and feeling the vibe and feeling the energy and, just raising, because, look, I'll tell you this, when I started really going out with Base 3, right? Even on that level, when I started hanging out with Base 3 and we would go out on Friday, for me, I started increasing my energy and my frequency, and I was just on a totally different level that I haven't had been in a while. So I can only picture and I can only imagine, being around the originator, the founder, and all the other men around that make that thing happen. I can only picture, and I'm really excited to see, the type of energy and the level of I don't even know the word to put, but that's really what I'm going with. I mean, that's what I'm excited about.
Nice. And it is, let's say, still early in this evolution. There's probably another few decades of it, so still pretty young. And yet it's also matured. There was an opportunity once. I remember after a camp down in Los Angeles, and I was the only one, for some reason, I was the only one motherfucker going to the strip club with the Rosh. Nobody was going. It was a camp with Vince Kelvin. It was a bunch of guys. And I guess it was to charge to go. Nobody wanted to pay any fee to go. So he was like, let's just go. I wasn't paying a fee, but at that time I'd already done $3,500 one-on-one, $2,500 two-on-one, where there was another yoga teacher for 4 days. I bought all his library. At some point I messaged, after like 10 or 12 products, I messaged him. I was like, how much for all the rest? And he's like, make me a deal or whatever. So I bought the whole library. And then, I was flying to different camps with him and Vince Kelvin, really just looking forward to training with him. But Vince Kelvin was facilitating everything. So, because AZD wasn't doing events like this, no events. It was Diamond Mind and that's it. And then I did the Red Lotus event. After I came back from India, I did Inception. So these like multi-$1,000 events. At the time, it was unheard of. Like, what the fuck? Like, nobody's doing that. You'd have to be like Tony Robbins or like, who's that other guy, Grant Cardone or whatever. But there's a product or service at the end of that, doing something. I guess Tony Robbins is like still just kind of pure mindset, but obviously that's lame compared to what Rosh is doing. But people of status and wealth and reputation they don't want to compromise it. They're attached. They don't want to lose it. And so after a certain level of success, they're just going to avoid it and do what's called denigrate. They'll denigrate it so that it's less, so that it chops it down in other people's minds. They make it seem like it's less or worse. And that's fine. We'll take their women from them. So they just got to hide them, hide us. And at some point, I'm collecting guys to do like after hours stuff. One of the bonuses I'll be giving will be after hours infield with 2 Swedish girls and one kind of light-skinned black girl from Atlanta. So AZD, it's the infield audio of him picking up the 2 Swedish girls for 20 minutes. You don't get the whole interaction, but you get 20 minutes of a hotel lounge, 2 fine Swedish women, spoke fine English or whatever. It was, so you just hear some great game. And then the black girl you actually hear up in the hotel room. So we're there with Brian Casella and him, and so you get to hear 55 minutes of that comfort building game. And with a new girl, right? What was I saying? So I was at this event, and so I was collecting guys to do after hours, and nobody wanted to come for this particular after hours. It was going to the strip club, and nobody wanted to go to the strip club. So I went with them. There were probably half a dozen, or maybe less, maybe 4 occasions that I was able to just kind of have some one-on-one time with Arash, just because I was around and I had invested so much, and I was like at that level. It was before Tabiat. It was when he was doing a lot of no fucks, and a little bit before then. So the No Fucks podcast was like a real generous free offering that he kept giving. And now it would be next to impossible to get that. There's just too many people around in close proximity. There's always someone demanding of his time. That private one-on-one attention is very difficult. The first lecture of the camp this month, he basically audited me for a thing. Earlier in the day, I had asked him to talk for a few minutes. Maybe he realized or not that it was going to be a much longer conversation. But what he answered was, let's do it in front of everybody. I was like, oh shit, I don't want to do that. Because time is valuable. Everybody wants one-on-one time if they could get it. So like Chris will be coming around, Chris Lopez will be coming around the camp. There'll be like 20 other guys. You'll get to catch the vibe of what he's like around 20 guys. Catch the vibe of what he's like when he's around just you and one other person, or just you. You know, that'll also, it's just different. I'm just putting it in perspective, you know, because maybe one day you'll have that opportunity. You'll come and just stay residency overnight. You'll do like, come to a private moment. And so you get to stay overnight the night before and just open up your eyes, open up your ears, open up your senses, open up your being, and just observe what it's like. You know, that's as close as you can get, basically. Right on. Okay, Lone Wolf, Mr. Lone Wolf. I guess I already asked you like what you were looking forward to. So where do we take it? How do we close it down? Do you have any last words?
Yeah, thank you for the brothers that showed up to this podcast today. Thank you to Chris Lopez for sharing his views. Shout out to Powerhouse for piecing together those words that, for me, and making it just make sense.
Yeah.
And thank you for having me, brother. And you know, I can see it. I come from a military background, and you're always on my ass, man. And that's
Tell me about that. Tell me about your military background.
Okay, let's talk about that. Well, I was in the Marines. It was a very short stint in the Marines. It was a year. I sustained.
But you made it through basic training. You made it through what was needed to be buds, whatever.
Right. So
you were a Marine for a year.
What's that?
You were a Marine for a year.
Yeah, for a year.
Yeah. Did you just quit? You just honorably discharged?
No. Honorable discharge because I sustained a femoral neck fracture. So I have three pins on my hip.
You said lower hip, right? Not the lower neck?
No. The hip. Femoral neck.
Got you.
Yeah. So I understand.
How'd that happen?
Camaraderie. What's that?
The tank drive over you?
No, man. It was just training, got into a fight. It's a long story. But yeah, I come from that background, you know, and sometimes I just need that extra push, somebody just to be on my ass.
My dad was a leader.
Right.
My dad went to West Point. He was an Army officer. He was the son of an Army officer who had lied about his age and went to the Korean War. He was 17. Kind of like MJ here, lied about his vaccination and he came from the United Kingdom. That takes fucking nuts of steel to go through airport security with a fucking fake vaccine card. You know, and my dad, after West Point, my dad had a broken neck out of high school. So he crushed 4 vertebrae on his right side, smashed the transverse processes of the vertebra and just like destroyed the discs. He lived with that for about 2 decades before they operated on him. But in that process, he did some clever wording to get into West Point, because obviously that's like, you wouldn't get into West Point if they knew that. But the medicine wasn't so sophisticated. They didn't look. They asked him, you have a history of repeatedly breaking your bones. And he was like, what does that mean? He's like, breaking a bone and then breaking it again. And he was like, nah, because he only broke his neck once. It wasn't repeated. So that's how he cleverly got into West Point. So that's like the university for Army. There's a university for Air Force, university for the Marines comes out of the Navy, University of the Navy.
Yeah.
So, which I did my wrestling training with the Navy. They had a great, Bruce Burnett was the Olympic wrestling coach who taught the Navy team. And he was very good. So then, yeah, Army officer, and just came out and he was leading guys. And he was the son of a guy that, you know, grandpa had went through officer training, candidacy school or whatever, and had some horror stories of like running 26 miles with boots and fucking backpack. And then the commanding officer or whatever made him do it twice because he didn't like that. They, what was it? I forget the end of it. Maybe somebody asked for cold water. No, I fucking forget. I remember there was some story about like, man, I wish grandpa was still around, but there was some story about like making a guy drink cold water, but they were too hot and it put him into like convulsions. They had to go to the hospital. He basically had to run a marathon twice. It was like 52 miles. I swear to God, he said that. Fucking hell. Boots. So that was a different era of military, I guess. And then, you know, he raised my dad. My dad was a hard-nosed, broke his neck playing football, but still got into West Point. So yeah, play both ways. So he went to West Point, did some boxing or whatever, became a ranger, airborne ranger, and then you know, was just leading guys. He's basically training the soldiers. He never went to war. They offered it to him, but he already had a wife and kid, and then later had me. And he also knew he had like really a devastating injury. Didn't know how devastating, but it was, his neck was smashed. It was like pressing into his spinal cord or whatever. And he eventually got the surgery. But the way that he ran our soccer teams when I was growing up, the way that he influenced my wrestling, he was always very militant, always very organized. Later in his career, he ended up working at NSA, the National Security Agency. He had a desk job, right? He had intelligence. He was a smart guy, you know, got a master's eventually in some computer science or whatever. But he was a fucking beast, like squat 600, bench 315 while he was a senior in high school. He was going to go play football, but broke his neck. So he ended up playing soccer, and that's how I got into West Point. So he got in as a soccer player. And with just the way he leads is very abrasive, very part of a bureaucracy, very part of a, if you're my inferior, you got to listen. If you're my superior, then I'll pay attention kind of thing. And, but as a high ranking person, as an officer, son of an officer, you know, so on. And so I definitely unconsciously am like that. You know, AZD hasn't, there's a lot of me that goes into the business that's not necessarily AZD going into the business. It's not necessarily how you do it. But I attribute the success, a lot of it, to me. No, I couldn't do it without him. I'm playing chess and I have the winning move, but somebody had to invent the game of chess. It wasn't me. I couldn't do it without it. And but like organizational, my OCD-ness, if IMC Ambu was here, he would tell you, I fucking get so pissed if he makes one fucking mistake on the spreadsheet. It's probably unreasonable. All right. That's enough about me. Chris Lopez, any final parting words? I know we're looking at the time. We got to get on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, I know we're going to have people watching this. I have people on my Instagram watching this, and I know we're live on Facebook as well. You know, I just want to send a message to those that might be just looky-loos watching. You know, if you've ever felt, you know, like you're, if you ever felt like you're an outcast in your circle of people, your family, your friends, you know, and you didn't belong anywhere. And you didn't belong anywhere not because not because people didn't want you there, but because you didn't want to be there. I'm telling you from my experience, and I think that many of these brothers here would probably agree with this. I would just assume. I think the reason why we're all here today, and I think the reason why we're all a part of this, is because I think to a certain level, I think that's what all of us have felt. And see, and what I do and where I come from, I know a lot of people, and I look at the way people live, I look at society, and I just think to myself that I don't want to be a part of this. And since I don't want to be a part of this, does that mean I'm going to be by myself? Does that mean I'm going to be isolated and feel alone? And by finding this tribe, really showed me that I'm not the only one. Matter of fact, there's hundreds of people that feel the exact same way. And so my message to anybody watching from the outside is, if you feel like that, I think this is your sign that you have to tap in. Like you have to really tap in, and you have to reach out, and you have to want to be a part of something, and you have to want to grow, and you have to want to change. And so I'm very, very excited. I'm very, very excited to head up to San Jose this month and get to meet a lot of these brothers and have the experiences that I know that is definitely worth the money. And my last final comment on that is just thank you, Yogi Chris, for once again all the help that you've given me, and your communication and your teaching, because I don't know whether you're aware of it or not, but you've actually taught me a lot. I don't think I've ever really expressed that to you, but I'm expressing that to you now. So you have taught me a lot just by observing you, by being in communication with you. And I don't know if that's what you mean to do, or maybe you just feel like you're just doing your job, but you have taught me a lot. And so I appreciate you and thank everybody else.
Yeah, man, we could talk a lot about that because, man, what you were just saying, it's very interesting. That's how I know you'll lead people that I'm not going to lead, because I'm different. I'm different from that. I wasn't attracted as an outcast, although I was an outcast. I never thought of myself as an outcast. That's probably why I'm an outcast to outcasts. I don't see myself as an outcast, although I have grown to really despise normies and normal culture, but in a way that's kind of entertaining for myself. And it's a razor sharp edge to, on the other side of that is really complaining victim mindset, practically just always complaining about normies or whatever. But definitely this is a lineage, a path of transferring good karma through communication, that as you bring order to the chaos of other people's words and emotions and bullshit, that you make the world better. And you do that with a deep understanding that everything you're saying comes from high ethics, high levels of survival on all the dynamics, yourself, your family, your group, your humanity, everything. Deep awareness and good skill, great skill, the ability to not just be aware, but to communicate in a way that causes the effects that you want. So there's a lot of understanding going on here. I was just telling MJ, who, did something that I probably would have done if I was in the UK. I might not go back. I don't know. There's probably a limit to doing that recklessness. That I tell people just to, no. I think it was Daniel Willett. No, it was MJ. I think it was about the call I did with Daniel Willis. Anybody who knows Daniel Willis from New Zealand. About how I just teach people enough just to, I forget how I said it to them, but to raise their awareness to the point so that it makes sense to them. Like I just got to get them out of their own way. And so I'll teach or explain something, like if we're on one-on-one dialogue, to get you through to the next layer of understanding, because you are qualified for this goodness if you got the money and you got the understanding. And if you got the understanding, you'll come to the money. It's like they say in The Greatest Salesman in the World. With understanding alone, I will be a success. What does he say? How does he go? Without it, I will fail, even though I possess all the knowledge and skills of the world. With understanding, I will be a great success. My sales will increase 100-fold, and I'll be a great success. Yeah, how does he say it? With understanding, I will increase my sales 100-fold and become a great success. If I have no other qualities, I can succeed with understanding alone. Without it, I will fail, even if I possess all the knowledge and skills of the world. You know, so you give somebody an understanding, they'll naturally make the wise decision for themselves. So, because it's also one of these traps is along the way thinking I'm so great and teaching for myself and trying to make some pennies off of that. And that might have a short-term benefit, you know, but it's a trap. We can go into that for all sorts of reasons. So thank you for your generous words, Chris Lopez. Thank you for your time. Thanks, Lone Wolf, your presence. And I think we'll have a lot more to hear from you as, you know, as you go through this transformation. It's very exciting to see you both go through this. There's about 20 guys signed up right now to come in person this month, plus, you know, a few other guys in AZD himself. So there'll be a full house. I don't know. We might be in the new base. The move is next weekend. The new base is smaller, but it's he owns it. And so that'll be interesting, or I don't know what he'll do. And private moments, Chris Lopez, make sure you know a lot of the private moments will be happening on Monday. I don't know if you knew that. It's the Monday after camp. So the camp is going to be kind of like 4 days, Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. A lot of it will be on Monday. You don't necessarily want to miss anything. Friday night is the strip club. Saturday night is eating out with all the guys. I don't know if you could take that much work off if you need to change plane tickets or whatever, but now you know it's Friday, whatever time we start, really as early as Dragon's Lair, and then through to Monday night. You know, so it's going to be an incredible event. Tattoo addicts, I want to see you there. We got a lot of guys. You know what that means? That's a lot of tattoos. I'm sure you can make it if it's just, you know, the right communication lines put out there. And everybody else, thanks for your attendance. Os.